Hello everyone and welcome to another video on our channel. Today, let's dive into a scary and terrifying world, exploring horror stories inspired by true events. These stories prove that sometimes reality can be scarier than any fiction. The Amityville Experience. The story of the Amityville house is one of the best known in the horror world. In 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. brutally murdered his parents and 4 siblings while they slept in the house. The following year, the Lutz family moved into the house, but claimed to experience intense paranormal activity, such as flying objects, apparitions, and a demonic presence, causing them to leave the house after just 28 days. The story inspired the book and movie horror in Amityville. The Exorcism of Anneliese Michel. Anneliese Michel was a young German woman who claimed to be possessed by demons. She underwent 67 exorcism sessions between 1975 and 1976. Anneliese tragically died of starvation and dehydration in 1976, and her parents and the priests responsible for the exorcisms were prosecuted for manslaughter. Her story inspired the film The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The Annabelle Doll. The Annabelle doll, which inspired the horror film series The Conjuring and Annabelle, is based on a true story. In the 1970s, 2 nurses received the doll as a gift and soon realized something was wrong. The doll seemed to change position and place, and scary messages appeared written on paper. They sought help from famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who identified the presence of an evil spirit in the doll. Currently, Annabelle is locked in a glass case in Ed and Lorraine Warren's museum. The Silence of the Lambs. This acclaimed psychological thriller is based on the novel by Thomas Harris and was inspired by the relationship between FBI agent John E. Douglas and serial killer Ted Bundy. The character Hannibal Lecter was influenced by an encounter the author had with the murderer Alfredo Bally Trevino during his research. The Illuminated. The Shining is one of the most famous horror films of all time. Based on the book by Stephen King, the story was inspired by the author's stay at the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. King had a nightmare during his stay, which became the basis for the story of Jack Torrance, a writer who went insane while working as a janitor in an isolated hotel during the winter. The Blair Witch. Although many believe this film to be entirely fictional, the story of the Blair Witch Project was inspired by urban legends and true events that took place in Buckettsville, Maryland. The film, which follows the story of 3 film students who disappeared while investigating the legend of the witch, was presented as a real documentary, which increased the public's fear and fascination. And that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed these horror stories inspired by true events. These narratives are a motivator that reality can be as scary as fiction. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment sharing your own real-life horror stories. See you in the next video.